One of the worst retirement matches in pro wrestling. In this video, I'm going to give my worst to first, if you will, because there's been a lot of retirement matches out there now. I'm not stating retirement stipulation matches. No, 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 no. I'm talking about pure retirement matches. Maybe they happened on house shows. Maybe they had a interesting unsanctioned fight. That's on the list. Or maybe it's just a really, really bad match that we all know and love because it's that bad. Whether it happened at a PLE or a pay per view, maybe it happened on television. Either way, because there's been a lot of good retirement matches in the history of the wrestling business, there's also been a lot of bad. And I figured, why not? Let's rank it. Now, there are going to be some notable names on this list that you will remember: Vince McMahon, Bret Hart. I don't want to give the list away too much, so let's start it at number 10. Starting it off, it's Triple H's retirement match. Now look, this was not a quote-unquote retirement match. In fact, he worked a Japan house show. That was his last technical match. But if we're just talking about a match, it was an unsanctioned fight that closed out Triple H's career. Randy Orton, went to a no contest on Monday Night Raw in January of 2021. This was at a time in which it ended with Bray Wyatt's shenanigans. Now, this wasn't the ideal way for Triple H to go out and have his final match, but given his health issues that we later found out about, he won't be having another one, so he can't make just do. But the fact that his career did end in the Thunderdome in the pandemic because they were trying to build towards Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt yet again, not optimal, but they opted to do so. There was a lot of just really bad booking during the pandemic, and some of it you just can't blame them. Number 9. It is Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin. Now, at WrestleMania 35, Kurt Angle, he's told the story 100 times, so I'll summarize it. He knew his body was shutting down. He didn't like how he was working. He went to Vince, said, hey, I want to have my retirement match, WrestleMania 2019. I want it against Cena. Vince says, no, you have a built-in feud with Baron Corbin. You can work Cena the following year if you stick around. He said, no, I don't want to do that. So he put over Baron Corbin, who WWE never really did anything with outside of like King of the Ring or a U.S. champion. And it was what it was. A wasted opportunity on a wasted name. And going into that match, you knew Baron Corbin probably wasn't going to be the guy. He didn't have the charisma. He did not have the promo, and he didn't have the in-ring ability, but they opted to do so. Now, it is a shame, no doubt, to have Kurt Angle go out this way, right? You would have liked to have seen him go out on his high note, right, against a notable guy, maybe an AJ Styles or someone that could have carried him a little bit better than just kind of this stiff board type Baron Corbin. Moving it along, number 8, Hulk Hogan. Yes, Hulk Hogan's final pro wrestling match. It was at a house show in 2012, for Impact Wrestling, TNA Wrestling, if you will, over in Manchester, England. He teamed up with James Storm and Sting to go over Bobby Roode, Bully Ray, and Kurt Angle. Now, on paper, that doesn't sound too bad. The only problem is it's Hulk Hogan, and it's at a house show in TNA in Manchester, England. What are we doing, right? Like, he tried a few years ago to come back and work one more match at Mania for WWE, but he's had so many back surgery, there was no way he could do it. Even his TNA run, he had no business of being ever in the ring working matches. He could not bump. All he could do was just kind of sell punches and kicks. Couldn't take slams, couldn't take flat backs, couldn't do anything like that. And so it was just really, really bad. And the fact that it ended at a house show, no one really saw it, and especially in TNA during a really bad period of TNA, not the greatest. Moving it along, number 7, Bret Hart competed in a comedy match. Yes, the legendary Bret Hart. Bret Hart and John Cena defeated Alberto Del Rio and Ricardo Rodriguez on September 12th, 2011. On Monday Night Raw. Now, Bret Hart did return to the ring the prior year, competing in several matches, but they meant very little and was just hardly matches due to Hart's inability to take bumps or much punishment due to his previous stroke many, many years prior. So this was not a great way for the legendary career of Bret Hart to end. Now, sure, some could say, well, it's better than the way that his WCW run ended due to injury, and at least he got to come back and do some matches. But at the end of the day, if you look back fondly on Bret Hart's career, you want to forget about this time period. It was just bad. It was a shell of himself. He didn't have his ring gear. He wrestled in jorts for whatever reason, and it just didn't work. I didn't like it. And at number 6, fans try to forget Shawn Michaels' final match ever. Take it back with me, y'all. 2018, Shawn Michaels comes out of retirement because Saudi Arabia paid him a boatload of money to team up with Triple H against The Undertaker and Kane at Crown Jewel. Both guys, both Shawn, Undertaker, probably all of them, thought, well, this is going to be a walk in the park. It turned out to be a disaster. Shawn Michaels was bald. Triple H tore his pec, I believe, or his tricep. I think it was his pec. And Kane lost his mask at one point. The Undertaker, well past his age. All these guys past their prime. It was just horrific. I remember being on vacation. I did not cover this event, but I saw the reviews in the afternoon after the show went off the air saying how bad it was. And I'm like, there's no way that these guys had a bad match. Like, I'm sure it's not great, but it's not bad. Oh, it was. It was very bad. And Shawn Michaels made it very clear in his post-match interview. Backstage, he's like, yeah, I'm never doing this again. At number 5, do you remember this? Randy Savage's last match was in TNA. Turning Point 2004, excuse me. It was Randy Savage teaming up with Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles to go over Jeff Jarrett, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall. Savage had not wrestled for 4 years after his final match in WCW, but returned to the ring in 2004 to compete for TNA, and it sucked. While it was an all-star clash, Savage teamed with 2 of the most over guys that TNA had against 3 of the biggest heels that they had. It just didn't work because Randy Savage was embarrassed by his look and came down at the very end of the match, hit his signature elbow, and that was it. He didn't do much. It was lackluster. Now, to TNA's credit, they were just trying to get the guy in the ring, and I thought they did a very good job in that. But at the end of the day, someone like Savage, not the greatest way to go out. Number 4, we got the Ultimate Warrior's final match. Do y'all even remember this? So he worked Orlando Jordan in June of 2008. Yeah, a whole decade after his last match in WCW against Hulk Hogan, which that wasn't good. But he returned for one more match in Spain, of all people. Now, Warrior at this point, he was aged, and they just had an awful match that was slow, bland, and despite the fact that Jordan tried to do his best to get over it, tried to get through it, to just absolutely hide how poor the Ultimate Warrior was, who was blown up and struggled his way through the match. Well, it was it. Warrior opted, you know what? This ain't for me no more. I'm old. I'm broken down. I should not be in the ring with this guy. Yeah. So credit to Orlando for doing what he could, but it's on YouTube, and I highly recommend you don't watch it. And we're at number 3. Ric Flair's final match, and it was an absolute train wreck. You knew it going in. Ric Flair, Andrade going over Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal in July of 2022. Flair had a last match in WWE. He had a last match in TNA, and he finally had a last match as an event. He was well into his 70s at this point, and he was looking bad. There was significant concern about it. Flair, he passed out twice in the match due to dehydration, and also pretended that he had a heart attack for heat. Everyone involved, well, it sucked. They knew it sucked, but they tried their best. Look, Andrade, Lethal, and Jarrett, they did their best. I don't blame them. But they had to carry this match, and it was only bad, really, when Flair was in there. And when he was, it was really bad. How can you top that? Well, you can do it at number 2 because Andre the Giant had one of the worst matches you will ever see. Now, Andre the Giant teamed with Giant Baba and Rusher Kimura to take on Hakura, Ijin, Fuchi, and Akamoa in December of 1992 for All Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, for several years, Andre the Giant's career was winding down due to his health issues. That's been well documented. However, despite the health issues, it did not stop him from working in pro wrestling. And you go back, he's in a purple singlet. He's got his knees taped up. He looks horrific. He's really overweight. It's just bad. I mean, the last few years of his career was really bad. He could not do much. He couldn't move in the center of the ring. He had to consistently hold on to the ropes to do spots. It was just bad. And it was because of his health. Finally, we have made it through this list at number 1. How could you forget it? Vince McMahon's last match was the worst in the history of the wrestling business. Yes, because he took on and actually defeated Pat McAfee at WrestleMania 38 Sunday. Yeah. Vince McMahon, look, he's never been touted as a great in-ring performer, but his ability to wrestle, well, he could just get by being Vince and just having so much heat. And there was reports, I remember it, months going into the show, Vince is going to wrestle. Vince is going to wrestle. No, this is legit. He's going to wrestle. He looked very old and very weak in a match that was an impromptu squash against Pat McAfee, who had worked Austin Theory just moments before. And it will go down as one of the worst WrestleMania matches of all time. In my opinion, the worst retirement match of all time.